Abu Dhabi Dude!
Hi there, this is Abu Dhabi Dude. Welcome back. And it's another road trip. And for today's road trip, the trusty I-Pace is venturing south of the border on its first foray out of Scotland. We're off down to Englandshire. And we're there for the weekend. More of a weekend away, a day trip for once. We're heading down to the nearest town that I know of is called Lichfield. I know about that because from my daytime job as a controller, there's a crossing that the military use called the Lichfield Corridor where they can take their aircraft through civilian airspace. So if you're a pilot, you might know where I'm going. If you're not a pilot, you might want to look it up. But we're headed down towards there. It's a hotel near Lichfield. And it's a bit of an odd day for it, in that the weather is atrocious. Now at the moment it's lovely, but terrible rain all morning. There's all sorts of storm warnings and cautions to not travel unless your journey is absolutely necessary and all that kind of stuff. But in the interest of the channel, I am prepared to put my life at risk. I hope you appreciate it. But yeah, at the moment there's no rain at all. Dry roads, which I hope will continue because I've planned the whole trip based on dry roads because I didn't realize it was going to be rainy at the weekend. And of course, wet weather affects the range of the car. We're kind of pushing it a bit on this at times, so as I say, dry roads would be lovely. So we'll see how that goes. I've also planned the trip in a different way to normal. Obviously, I'm going out of Scotland, so it gets rid of the whole Charge Place Scotland issue at that point, once we cross the border. But what I've done, and bear with me on this, is I've planned the entire trip, down there at least, using only, I'm scared to say this, only Ecotricity chargers. I'll just pause to let that one sink in. Yep, I am relying on Ecotricity in my I-Pace for a 310 mile journey. But it's not quite as mad as it seems. Basically what I've done is I've planned 2 stops. Now technically we could do it on 1 stop, but because we're down there for the weekend, I'm stopping at the last charging place before the hotel so that I can top up so the car's charged for the couple of days we're there for driving around. Otherwise we could have got away with a single stop. We're stupidly staying at a hotel with no charger in the hotel, so that doesn't help. So as a result, we're going to stop, as I say, a second time just before we get to the hotel. Now, in addition, although I've planned for Ecotricity chargers, I've actually done it at a point where just after the Ecotricity charger, if I go off the motorway, there will be access to an Instavolt and or a Polar. So it's not quite as desperate as it sounds. Now, when I originally planned the trip, I actually planned to just go to those Instavolt and Polar chargers. But each one is off my route, and each one adds between 15 and 20 minutes to drive. So, if I can get a charge at Ecotricity, that's better, because it's on the motorway, it's at services. So even though it's slightly slower than the Polar ones, allegedly, I haven't used them, if we get a charge from it, it's unlikely to take 20 minutes longer than the Instavolt would, for example. So the plan is we'll stop at Ecotricity, we'll try it. I won't waste too much time trying it. I'm not going to do like you've seen on some of my other road trip videos where I've been stood there for 30 minutes trying to get the charger to work. I won't do that. I'll give it a couple of goes, 2 or 3 goes max. If it hasn't started by then we'll just abandon that and we'll go to the one that's off the route. So the first one is an Instavolt, and the second one is a Polar. at that install, there's also a polar just down the road from it as well. Each one of the sites there has got 2 chargers, so we should be fine there and getting a charge. However, Ecotricity would just make life easier. Now, I saw an interview with Dale, the founder of Ecotricity, a few weeks back with Robert Llewellyn, where he said that he was aware of the problems that people were having with Ecotricity. They were updating all the charges and it would be done within the next 2 to 3 weeks back then, which means they should all be done by now, which means they should work with the iPace. There's a lot of shoulds in that sentence, and in the EE world, should often means nah, forget it. So we'll see. I'll say we'll give it a go, and worst case scenario is we'll have to use the backup sites at Instavolt and Polar. Not a disaster, and it's nice that we've at least got that alternative. So I planned it that way. I've also set up, I'm not going to go too much in depth in this today because I'm going to do a separate video on it, but I'm using a new app, or new to me anyway, I think it's fairly new, called WhatsApp. To be confused with the messaging service WhatsApp, this is WhatsApp, WATTSUP, WhatsApp. And it's a route planning app. Basically, just give you a shortened version of it. It basically lists all the chargers that are within 2.5 miles of your route all the way along. So the theory is that what they want to do is get EV driving to the point where it's like petrol driving, and you don't have to sit at home and go, right, I'll stop that charger and that charger. You know, their theory is that you just drive until you're at a range where you want to recharge, and the app will tell you where the nearest charger is. So I've got that running as well, just in case, for example, if the rain comes teeming down, and the range plummets as a result, and I need to find another charger unexpectedly, then I'm just going to use WhatsApp to do that. But as ever, I've got my trusty spreadsheet done for the trip down. I've done a separate one for the trip back. And that, in addition, I have put in a number of waypoints. Each waypoint is just before an Ecotricity charger on the motorway. So if my percentage is significantly below what it is on the spreadsheet, then I'll just stop at the next services and try an Ecotricity. If it doesn't work and I get to a point where it's critical, then I'll go off route and try and find an Instavolt somewhere. But basically how it's all worked out. As I say, could do it with one charge, but because I need electricity while I'm down there and the hotel doesn't provide charging, I've done it with 2 stops. But it hasn't changed the plan very much, other than we're going to get there later, because instead of charging up while we're at the hotel, we're charging up on the way to the hotel. But that one stop should give us enough to do what we need to do over the weekend, and still do some and still have about 50%, I reckon, by the time we set off back, without jumping on too much. That obviously means we need to make 2 stops on the way back as well, because we're not setting off with that. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's do the journey down for now. Now you may be wondering why I'm going to Lichfield, a place that's so close to my heart that I don't even really know where we're going. And it's because we are going down to support my goddaughter, who's competing in Britain's Strongest Woman. She's already Britain's Strongest Woman. She won that one, must have been about a month ago, I think. And I went to compete in that, which was hugely impressive. So yeah, we're going down to watch her compete, some local support, and give her some family support while she's in. So yeah, that's tomorrow. It's part of a heavy metal festival in the middle of the road somewhere. So if the weather forecast is correct, it can be extremely interesting. And I'm to test the off-road capabilities of the I-Pace. But yeah, for now, that's the plan. That's what we're going down for. I'm hugely excited to watch her. She's very impressive athlete, and yeah, hopefully I'll be celebrating on the way back with a family win. But yeah, fingers crossed, or as my weak foreign wife would hold thumbs. Everything goes well, both for the drive down and for Emma Jane's competition. Anyway, now I'll leave it at that, and I'll talk to you as we get to the first of our. I don't remember if there's a waypoint actually, or if the first site is just the first charging stop. I think the first waypoint is the first Ecotricity station. So yeah, I'll probably speak to you as we're coming up to that, let you know how the consumption's going, and then we'll explore the wonderful, wacky world of Ecotricity charging. So until then, I will leave you with a bit of scenery. There won't be loads of scenery on this road trip because most of it is motorways. Let's face it, not exciting. So I probably won't cut in huge amounts of footage, but at the moment we're cutting through the Scottish countryside down to Dumfries. So there will be some scenery for you on this part of the trip, so I'll cut that in now. You can enjoy that, and then I'll speak to you, as I say, once we're coming up to that first charger. See you in a bit. Okay, well, we're going to get our first Ecotricity test done. Not at the intentional spot, but my wife has, of course, come with me. Oh, where'd you go? There you are. Yeah, my wife has decided that she needs a bathroom break. So since we're stopping anyway at the services and there happens to be an Ecotricity charger, I thought, why not make use of it? So we're going to stop, we're going to give it a go, and what's the worst that can happen? Let's see how it pans out, shall we? Okay, there she is there. Let's get the app going. Fire up the app. Put it over the other side for you to see, and see about getting a charge started. Okay, it's saying connect the vehicle. So I don't know how much of that I managed to capture. Oh, dirty cables dragging against the side of my car. Don't like it. Okay, that's the car plugged in anyway. And yep, I've done that. Just tell me to connect my vehicle. Sorry.
Right, so as simple as that. The car is charging. After all the fuss and bad press, that's pretty impressive. So, although we're only at 58%, since we're stopping anyway, we might as well stick some electricity in, because even if it's just 10-15 minutes here, that's 10-15 minutes off the big charging stop. So we're off to get a coffee and use the bathrooms, and I'm going to leave the car to charge up.
Okay, well, we are on our way to the first proper charging stop now. We got about less than 20 miles to go, about 15 miles to go, just over. And we're just under 50% charge. So we're actually doing really well. We're doing way better, again, than a better route planner guessed we would be. But we're even doing better than I thought we would be doing at this point, to be honest. So I do seem to be getting better range for some reason. Not sure quite why, but even with motorway driving, we're getting about 40 kilowatt hours per 100 miles at the moment, which is, yeah, that's pretty good. That's 210 mile range, something like that. And hands up to this one, I forgot to precondition before we set off, so
That was on a cold start as well, or a hot start. Not sure which it would count as today. But yeah, so we are making our way down the M6 now to that charging stop. We stopped back there, as you saw, for a bathroom break, because of course my wife's bladder, pea-sized, teeny tiny bladder, means we're not going to be able to drive for 2 hours without stopping. So we stopped for a pee break. I decided to use the charger anyway, even though we were only there for 10 minutes, or less than 10 minutes. It's 10 minutes off my next charging stop, so why not? So we did that, and I worked out a quick bit of back of a cigarette packet maths that we got about a 44 kilowatt charger out of that charger. So not only did it work, but it was much quicker than everybody says the Ecotricity chargers are. So I'd have to guess that Dale was right, and they have upgraded the chargers or fixed them, or whatever you want to call it. One little cool thing that happened while we were there, was a guy held the door open for my wife to go into the service station, and then I kind of went, "Oh no, after you," and he said, "No, after you, mate." And then I went in, and I heard somebody else saying, "That's Steven Gerrard, that's Steven Gerrard." And I looked round, and it was Steven Gerrard, the ex-Liverpool and England footballer, and the current Raiders manager. So there you go, rubbing shoulders with the rich and famous. So he came out just about the same time as we came out, and walked off, climbed into his massive Range Rover, and shot off into the distance, spewing petrol fumes behind them. But yeah, he was quite cool, and I have to say, he was a proper gentleman. Held the door for us. So, and called me mate. There you go.
On the bridge.
So anyway, we're on, as I say, on our way to that charger. We could probably go a bit further if we wanted to, but I've kind of planned it around that charger, so might as well. It's not going to cause us any issues. By charging there, we can still comfortably make the one that we want to make next, so it really doesn't make any difference. So rather than mess around with the plan, which I've already worked out, I'll just keep going with it, and that way I'll know that. So as long as my consumption's lower than expected, the plan works. So there's no need to force ourselves to press on and maybe get ourselves to a critical situation later. So even if we're charging up at 30% instead of 15%, you know, I'll just do it. Okay. And that way, if the charger doesn't work, I'm not suddenly panicking that I'm down to my last few miles of range and I need to find a charger urgently. And like I say, the good thing with this one is I know that just after that, there's both an Instavolt and the Polar that I can divert to. Only adds 15 minutes to my drive, and it's not that big a deal. So we're going to stick with that charger, stop there. We'll definitely have a proper break there, because we've got to charge up anyway, so we'll have a proper pee break and probably have a coffee and a bite to eat, and then on from there. But at the moment, everything's going well. We've had a sort of very short-lived burst of pretty heavy rain, I have to say, but that's been it. The roads are still dry, so it was short-lived enough that it evaporated off almost as soon as the rain stopped. So the roads are still dry, consumption is good, temperatures are still decent at 20 degrees, and yeah, everything is shaping up well. So we will talk to you, I guess, once we get to that next charger. Till then, enjoy what's left of the scenery. See you then. Okay, here we are then at the Ecotricity charger. I had to set it going without you because you need the app to do it, and of course I'm filming this on my phone, yada yada yada. Somewhat windy, but I have plugged in and I've set it going, and first time, no issues charging. Been charging for precisely 1 minute, 399 volts at 109 amps, so yeah, that would tie in with about a 43 kilowatt charging speed. So far I would have to say so good. Let's just see what it says inside the dash on the car, but I'm pretty confident we've getting a charge. There you go, one successfully started charge. We're at 39%, so allowing for the 5% we added roughly last time, that would put us at 34%. And according to a better route planner, we should have got here with 16%. So yeah, a better route planner is way overestimating for the iPace, which we kind of already knew. But yeah, I just tend to, I've already started just using my own calculation of, I just base it off 200 miles on a full charge. That's slightly conservative. I'm actually getting between 210 and 230. But if I work it at 200, it means I don't have to worry about running out. I've got myself enough of a buffer then. But there you go, we're charging. You can ignore the time remaining part because that's assuming you're going to take it right up to 100%. So it allows for all the tapering and everything. But at the moment we're getting about, as I say, 42 or 43 kilowatts. And that's pretty decent. Yeah, happy with that. So we're going to try and get up to, it was 90% I wanted to get up to here. If I can just double check the calculations. Although having said that, with us under consuming so much, I mean, that's a massive difference from 16 to 34. You know, that's out by a lot. But anyway, I'll message them and let them know. But we are looking at, if I can get to 90% here, then, well, it reckons that we need 93% to get to the polar, the very last polar. And it reckons we need 90% to get to the Ecotricity charger that I'm planning to use, I'm hoping to use. And then if that doesn't work, we'll continue on to the polar at Litchfield, which is the last charger of any sort before we get to the hotel. But if it's reckoning we need 93% to get there, if we charge up here to 90, that should be, going by how pessimistic a better route planner generally is, we probably won't need anything like 93%. So if we charge to 90, I reckon we'll probably get there with maybe 10%, something like that. And failing that, there's a few Ecotricities along the way. As I say, I've set a few waypoints so I can measure my performance as we go, and if we do need to stop early, each of those waypoints is just before an Ecotricity charger, so we can stop at each, you know, I can check my consumption coming up to each one, and if we do need to do a quick top up, we can do it. But going by what I've seen so far, not anticipating any issues at all with making it to that charger. Hopefully the Ecotricity one there will be as good as the one here, and the one that we just stopped at was it Todd Hill? I think it was Todd Hill Services. Yeah, all told, can't complain so far. It's been a much more what's the word, much more successful charging experience than ChargePlay Scotland, to be honest, with those old eVolt chargers. These are even older than those chargers, but so far, so good. Right, anyway, we will go, we will have our break, we will have a coffee and a pee, and then, or actually we'll probably have a pee and a coffee, because then that allows my wife to have another pee before we set off. And then probably have to stop for a pee on the way down. That's the other thing, if we need to stop somewhere for a pee, I'll also do the same as we did at the last services, and I'll plug in for a quick 10-minute charge, because you might as well, it's free charging time. It's it's time that the car would be sitting there doing nothing. So you might as well plug it in and get a few percent. So yeah, if we do stop between here and that final charger stop, then we'll top up anyway, and that will add more than the 3%. But as I say, I'm pretty certain now that we don't need 93% based on everything I've seen up till now. So yeah, there we go. First leg of the journey successfully completed, and we'll go have something to eat, enjoy the break, and I'll talk to you as we get to our next waypoint. Fingers crossed, or hold thumbs, that the charger continues without stopping. And I'll talk to you later. Bye for now. Okay, right, we've come back to the car, and good news, the charging was completely successful. It did actually, I have to be honest, it did stop at one point. Sorry, I need my keys to stop the charge. It did stop at one point, which caused me some concern. We got to 82% and it stopped. But then when I checked, it was just that the charger had timed out. Ecotricity give you a time limit, and the charger had timed out, and it had reached its time limit. So we just had to, or I just had to come back to the car and restart it. But yeah, nonetheless, successful charge. I suppose technically you could say 2 successful charges. Okay, charging session ended. Right, yeah, you could say 2 successful charges actually, because I had to start it again. Which is, there we go. Put everything away. Yeah, much better than I was expecting to be reporting after everything I've heard about Ecotricity. Sorry, that's better. If I hold the camera up there, the lighting's a bit better. Apologies, I've got a fairly new gimbal and I'm still working on my gimbal skills, shall we say. So yeah, there we go. We're at it stopped at 82%, which worried me, but we've charged up now. We're at 91%, which is more than enough, I'm pretty sure, to get to that next, second and only remaining charging stop. So we'll get down there. If we stop for the inevitable pee, then we will be, no doubt, adding whatever we get there. So that might add another 5 or 6%, which I don't need it. But again, if I'm stopping for 5 or 10 minutes and that takes 5 or 10 minutes off my next charging stop, then why not? So yeah, all good stuff, and I'll chat to you when we get to the next waypoint and let you know how we're getting on in terms of consumption. But honestly, this trip so far, touch wood, the iPace and Ecotricity have behaved impeccably. I mean, that's technically 3 charges I've used now because I had to restart this one. No issues at all. Cool. Okay, we will get going, and I will talk to you at the next waypoint. Okay, first waypoint is gone, and as expected, doing way better than ABRP reckoned we would. It's really weird, actually. I mean, it's so far out. At least it's far out in the good way, and that you're getting a lot further than they reckon you're getting. But at the moment, we've just passed the first of those waypoints. We should, according to a better route planner, be at 57%, and we're at 63%. So already, just on that first 40 miles or so, we've made up more than enough percentage to be able to make that charger. And I have to say, the weather's been horrendous. We've been through some really heavy driving rain, so a couple of phenomenal lightning flashes, all of which are supposed to be really bad. So considering ABRP was done based on sunny weather, or dry roads anyway, and we were driving through persisting rain, as they say, you know, we should have been, if anything, significantly worse than it reckoned. We're not. We're so much ahead of it. But I kind of knew that. As I said before, I've stopped kind of worrying about ABRP's percentages. I just started operating on a 200 mile range, which again, that's very conservative, but I'd rather be conservative rather than doing all the calculations. It's easier just to assume 200 miles, work it out from that. And it's also easy to work out, like if I charge to 90%, that's 180 miles. You know, it's easy to do the arithmetic in your head quickly. So yeah, it's all been very promising so far. I mean, if that keeps up, which I've got no reason to suspect it won't, we'll arrive at that charger, which we should have arrived at, according to ABRP, with minus 2%. In other words, we wouldn't make it. We're probably going to get there with about 18 or 20% by the looks of it. Maybe you shouldn't speak too soon, but you know, the way it's going at the moment, it should be of that region. I mean, the roads have dried out now, so if anything, things should improve from here on. So yeah, it's just strange that it's so far out. But at least, as I say, it's not. If it was in the other direction, it would be really bad. But at least this way, you don't run out, you know. I was always going to make 2 charging stops, so it didn't really matter, in all honesty, where we made them. Because I was not going to get 310 miles out of the car. So I was always going to have to make 1 charging stop for charging purposes and a second charging stop for the charge I need to go around, you know, over the weekend. So we were always going to make 2. So where they are doesn't really matter, as long as we get enough range out of them that we don't have to do a top up in between. So it's all good. One other thing I meant to say about that last charging stop, it was Killington Lake southbound services, was that the charger wasn't getting a data connection. It had no comms, so it was a free vend, so I didn't pay for the electricity. So I went went all the way up to 91% from, what was I at? I can't actually remember now. I think it was about 30, was it 34%, 39%, somewhere in there. And it didn't cost me a penny. How tight am I? But yeah, so if you're heading out down south in the next few days in your iBase, Killington Lake Services, free electricity. So yeah, as I say, everything's going well. The weather's okay at the moment. We got a bit of light rain, but that's nothing to speak of. We came through, as I say, 2 horrendous showers. One of them was so bad you couldn't make out the white lines on the road. But we soldiered on through, and now it's, as I say, just a very light bit of rain, but not even enough to wet the road. So all is good, all is well. And we'll chat to you at the next waypoint. And in fact, that seems as good a place as any to leave it for this episode. With one more charging stop to go, and knowing the wife, several pee breaks, we will leave it there for today. Please do join us again for the next episode, which will be the last part of the journey, almost certainly the actual competition itself, and maybe even the first bit of the drive home too. If you have enjoyed it, click on the like button and do please subscribe. If you click on the bell icon after you've subscribed, you'll get a notification whenever the next episode is uploaded. So until next time, this is Abu Dhabi Dude saying so long, take care, see you soon. Bye. Abu Dhabi Dude!